everyone, today we'll be spending the next hour building a piggy bank from scratch. So it'll be in real time, so I'll record everything I do, all my mistakes, interruptions, whatever happens. So I'll cover the basics like modeling, materials, some simple texture painting, and maybe final with the lighting. So we're using cycles as you can see here, and setting up our camera. This isn't a strict tutorial, or you don't have to follow along, so you could, as you'll see, I kind of, it's not like a step-by-step thing I'm doing, so you can follow along, and at any point if you see a technique or think, hey, there's a better way to do something or improve, please drop a comment in below. Always looking to improve my workflow, and if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget hit the subscribe button. Anyway, let's jump straight into this building. All right, let's pick a piggy bank to model. So we go to Google and we're gonna pick something. I'm gonna go with this one here. So we'll build the little hammer and this little loop here. We'll try to build something similar, but this will be our reference. So I'll just put this over to the side, like so. And let's get started. So what I'm going to do is grab a mesh, a UV sphere. I'm going to change some of the properties here. So I'm going to want to rotate this on the X axis. So I'm going to set this to 90. So you can see we've rotated it 90 degrees. We're going to reduce the number of polys, 12 by 12. Maybe we'll set this to, no, we'll just leave it as 1 meter. You can set it to bigger if you want, but that's fine. All right. So this is our starting block, our base that we're going to use. So anyway, we're going to scale this up. Okay, let's look. So we want this, of course, going to be the nose. And then we're going to have ears and legs coming out. So let's make the nose. Let's make the nose. We can actually let's do it this way. Let's delete half, so we just do half and half, so we save ourselves some time. Let's use modifier and use the mirror. Okay, just turn clipping on. There we go. Okay, so now all I have to do is do half. Let me turn the X-ray off so I don't select the back faces. So if I go extrude out, you can see it's now mirrored. How far we want to go, it depends on the nose you want. I think that's okay. Just kind of bring that back in. There we go. Or even easier, just hit 0. Boom. Done. Okay. So we want to create a nose. So let's add a loop cut. It's not a loop. Is it a loop cut? Inset of this one. Inset of faces. So select these faces. I'm gonna inset. So it'll give us kind of what we want. I'm gonna press delete faces. I'm gonna select these edges, and then I'm gonna say go faces here, and I'll say grid fill. Right, and then with this vertex here, I'm gonna just make that align that. I'm gonna bevel this, bevel vertex, boom, and this can be the nostril. Right, we can of course increase the segments, and then change this loop cut to circle, scale it up, and we want to extrude this in, and then push this back. There we go. Now we have the nostril done. Alright, sorry, get interrupted. So we've got the nostrils done. Let's shape the nose a little bit more. So let's go into X-ray. The nose is not perfectly a circle, so we can kind of pull it out a little. So let's look at it from above. It might be easier, and just kind of these faces, these vertices there, something like that. Even this, I'll select the edges. Right. Or maybe the face. Can I select the face then? Then turn X-ray off. I'm going to just press Control Plus, grow that selection. Then I will scale it a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Let's do the legs, little stumps. We can do the same thing here. So we could probably select this vertex here. And we can just say bevel vertex. And then if you change that to a circle, oh, there you go. You can make a leg out of that, right? So if I was to extrude along normal, boom, it's not perfect, but we'll delete those faces as well. Let's go from the side view, kind of position it, and let's hit 0 on here, boop. And let's move this like this. I'm going to just move the whole thing up so I can set the feet to one level. So I already feel that the feet are too tall. So I'm going to move those up like so. And again, I can do the same on this back. So we use this edge here. Let's say the back leg's here. And again, I'll repeat the same. Bevel vertice. I'll just right click, loop tools, circle. If you don't have loop tools, by the way, edit, preference, go to get extensions and search for loop tools. If these are grayed out, make sure you right click Blender. So if you go to Blender, you right click, run as administrator, and that will get these will become visible. Just in case you run into that issue. Anyway, extrude along normals. I'll do the same thing here. And look at it from the side. And pull it down. And then I'm going to scale. And then I'll hit 0 on the numpad just to level that out. Boom. Then I can place this ground here where the grid goes, somewhere around here. That's looking alright. Now the only thing it's not looking alright because it's kind of wonky, but we'll fix that in a second. But let's select these faces and these faces, because if you look at the number of edges we have and the number of faces here, they don't match. So I'm going to just delete those. And if you select edge loop now and hit F, that's much better. F, okay. And then what you can do is now put a subdivision modifier. You may want to fix this, but let's put the subdivision modifier on there. Generate subdivision surface. Sorry, I keep on saying subdivision modifier. It's subdivision surface. It is a modifier because you're adding a modifier, but actually it's subdivision surface. So it's not looking terrible. You can right click and shade auto smooth as well, but it needs a lot of work, right? So we can fix this. Now if we want to click on the little triangle here, the cage, you can see the edges on the actual subdivision here. So you can come in and select these edges, this edge loop here if you want, and you can move this around, scale it up or down. I actually don't mind the front ones. I may just move this loop slightly back, or even just select these two and move this slightly back, just to help out here a little. And if we go here, I'm gonna select this face, flip tools, circle, so it's more, try to get more rounded. There we go. And I'll do the same on this circle, try to get that look more rounded. Now we want to inset these offsets, so let's select this and this. insert the face. There we go. And I'll do it one more time. Now what I can do is select this edge loop and just pull this up and pull this one back up. Of course, you can play around with this. It's not the best modeling, so it's not really. It's not really a tutorial. It's more of just me making stuff. You can choose to try follow along or not follow along, or if you have recommendations of doing things better, you can do it. That looks so wrong. There we go. That looks a bit better. Something like that. Yeah. Got a pig. Might be quite a tall pig. That's a pig. Ears. Now you can choose to extrude these out if you want. I'm going to actually do a separate piece. So I'm just going to use a plane. Really simple. Just grab a plane. Rotate this 90 degrees. And I'll kind of move it to where about, let's say about here. Right. And what I'm going to do is scale this. And then move it into position. So I want to split this. Put on just a little X. So you can subdivide this once. That should be enough. So you can select these edges and you can kind of scale these in. You can do the same on here. Scale this in. Push this edge back. Put it back. You can probably select that top vertex in the middle and pull this forward a little bit. And there we go. We have an ear. It doesn't look like much. However, we add some modifiers like a solidify. I'll increase this thickness. It doesn't matter which way you go, in or out. And let's just add a subdivision. There we go. Now we've got nice here. We can also shade this smooth. Now all we have to do is let's turn on the cage here so you can see better. And you can kind of move this around to, get a kind of ear that you like. Oh. So if I pull this back, I can get these squished in. Something like this. Kind of like that. It's not too bad. Maybe you want to squeeze this in a tiny bit. There we go. We have an ear. Just going to duplicate this and rotate this over. We have pig ears. Now I can add eyes. So I'm just going to get mesh. I'm just going to use this UV sphere. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be high poly or anything. I'm just going to scale this down. I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. Boom. Scale this and squash it. And we're gonna something like this. Alright, create shade auto smooth. And I'm just gonna take this. You can probably even do snap to surface. So if you want to say snap to, I don't know, the face. Sorry. I don't think we need to align it, but it should snap. There we go. And then if I do one here, Shift D, and one here, that snapped off. I'll turn this off. There we go. Let's do the tail. Little squirty tail. We just use a Bezier curve. When I bring in a Bezier, I'm going to hit Tab, Edit Mode, delete the existing vertices, and I'll just use a draw. And then I'll just kind of go from an angle here, and I'll kind of just do like a little swirl. Maybe I'll do that again. Something like that. I'm going to go object, center that origin to the surface of mass, so it's over here. And I'll position this curve where I want it. Now we're going to edit the points, of course. So we're going to go here, tab, because right now it's still flat on the plane. I'm just going to push this point into the body. And then I'll just move this around and down. There we go. And I'll just move this last point out. Oh, not this one, this one. Move this out and down. Now, if you're struggling like I am, I'm just going to delete this one. We don't need this additional vertex. I can use just this one here. And you want to visualize it a lot easier. Let's add some mesh so we can see it easier. So if we go here, geometry, and then we go to bevel, we're going to increase the depth. There we go. Now we get something that we can see better. You can go in here, edit this. You can make your little curly whirly pig tail, whatever, you know. Kind of, let's try to fix this up a little. Move this point in and this one down. There we go. Because it's not the best, but now I want this to taper. I don't want it to be, you know, one width. So if you want to taper this, if you hold Alt and S, you can scale this up or down on the path, so you can kind of shape this how you want. So if you want it, you know, really big or really small, you can do that. Of course. Let me just. I'm just tweaking it just until I'm happy with that. But yeah, something like this. Like I said, there's no rules to how your tail should look or whatever it is. It's just what you prefer or what you want to make. Anyway, there we go. We have a tail. So we have a pig with a tail. We've got some ears. We've got some eyes. There we go. Let's put the little piggy bank thing in the top, like the hole. So what we can do is just add a boolean modifier. So add generate boolean, and we need, of course, a cube. And we're going to just put a hole in it. Then we can do the hammer and the little loop, which should be really simple geometry as well. Now you can choose how much you want this to, how wide you want this, and how deep. We can select the boolean. We're going to say it's already on select on difference, and select that. Now if I select this cube, if I was to hide this, you can see we now have the little money coin. If I want, I can go in and still adjust this. And maybe I'll say, okay, maybe it's too thick. Once you're happy with it, I would say apply that boolean if you want. Actually, no, don't apply it because you have to first apply. You would have to apply first above. Maybe do that at the end if you want, but make sure the cube is hidden in the viewport, but also hidden if you're rendering. So disable and render, so it's not visible. And let's see now the loop with the hammer. So we're going to add I'd say get a Torres. You can adjust some of these parameters as well. And if you want like this to be a bit thicker, and bring it in. If I do shade auto smooth, it still looks like it's not. Let me move this. It's not smooth, but we can just adjust the angle on the smooth. So if we increase that value, right now we're set to 30. If we set something like, I don't know, a little bit higher, you'll notice it disappears. So the higher we go, there we go, 30.1, and that seems to fix that. It seems a bit too big, something like that. I don't mind it being a bit chunky. So chunky pig. There we go. Gonna add a mesh and a cylinder. This will be the hammer. So we'll take a look and scale this up. And move this into place. Boom. I don't want this too long. And I want to tilt this actually. I want to kind of, so it's like leaning, it's like hanging there. So the hammer's here, rather than just being like flat, you can lean it one way or the other. So lean it kind of there, like something like this. Maybe a little bit shorter. There we go. I'm gonna hit shade auto smooth. I'm gonna apply a bit of a modifier to this. Add some segments. Control A, scale. There we go. It's too round, right? So we don't want it all the way around, but we want it kind of roundish. So we've got the handle for the hammer. I'm going to use the cube. We'll just model that little hammer. I got this on my second screen, remember, so I can just look across and kind of reference what I'm working with. Anyway, I'm going to scale this down. Pull this out like this and out. There we go, we got a hammer. Add a modifier, generate bevel. Hit Control A so the scale applies better. And maybe we'll shade that smooth. There we go. And of course you're going to scale this. And you're going to rotate this a little bit so it doesn't cut into the body too much. And you're going to do the same for here. Just kind of position this where you want. So I do it kind of tilted like this and position it. Move this up a tiny bit. Because it doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect. There we go. Now we've got the hammer kind of just chilling there, just hanging on the loop. Got a little money box. Should we make a little pen? Since we're already, we might as well do that, and then we can start putting materials. I want to adjust this a little bit. Alt this. There we go. There we go. Cool. Yeah, let's make a little pen or something. So let's add a mesh. Say a cube. We can kind of scale this down and pull it out. Push it down. There we go. Hit Control A, scale, and then we can go modifier, generate, bevel, increase the count, shade auto smooth, maybe slightly bigger. Let's go to the side profile here. Yeah, it's okay. I'm going to use this actually, reuse this, and I'll just fix the rotation so it's standing up. There we go. So now this can be a post, fence post, like for our pen. Of course you can adjust the scale, something slightly, there we go. Control A, scale, and then what I'll do is just use an array modifier, generate an array. I want to go along the Y, not the X, so we're going to zero out that and then increase the Y. Of course we can increase the count too. 4 is okay, and then we can just spread this out evenly. There we go. Now if we was to add another array, we can do and make it go opposite here, or we can mirror this, it doesn't matter. And then use the base as the actual center pivot. I mean, there's so many ways you can do it. Like, so if I go here, generate, mirror, and then the object is this. Now it's on the opposite side. So if I do one change here, this changes. Which may be something you want to do. I don't know. Let's copy this, Shift D, and then we just rotate this. Boom. Take a look on the top. Oh, I don't want any of the modifiers, sorry. So we don't need the modifiers, so we can just move this. I don't want the mirror, and I don't want the array on this. I'm just gonna place this here. I'll do this one by eye. Shift D, Shift D. Oh, Shift. Oh, I'm holding Control. My fault. Sometimes I get the something like that. Then what I'll do is take one of those. Shift D. Make this a bit more thinner. Yep. Get from the side. Rotate this, and we have our little little pen. Of course, you can go here, tab, easier if you go here, just move those vertices there, move these vertices over there. Shift D, also Control A, scale, Shift D. I'm gonna kind of move this up. Maybe I'll make this slightly slanted. Maybe, yeah, maybe this on the array. Because on here you can do randomize, and you can add some rotation. There we go. So it's not all perfect. There we go. A bit crooked, and then I can shift the. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh, maybe I didn't. Oh, because I didn't have X-ray on. That's my fault. I can fix those. I'll fix them up in a second. Fix these, all of these actually. Tab. Make sure I had X-ray on, and then I'll just zero these out. That'll fix that. There we go. And move those back, and move these back. And of course, I don't want all to be the same. There we go. Maybe this one slightly. And then we just need to take these, for example. I'll take these two, Shift D, look at it from above, and we just place it here. So, and I'll move those over. Because it's not perfect, but let's see how that looks. Oh, take X-ray off. There we go. That's not bad. I mean, we could make the pig slightly bigger, but just also select the cube. Oh, how should I do this? Wait, this, this, join parent object. So there we'll move the pig. There we go. Want this to parent as well, object, and then the cube, which is hidden, and then this parent to object. So now this all moves up. There we go. And if I scale it, so I can make it slightly bigger. Cool. I might add some mud or something, some like puddles of mud on the little pen. You know, pigs like to play in the mud. So I mean, there's a few ways you can do this. Let me try to think. Should we just we can get a plane, and of course we could probably just subdivide this, right? Subdivide. This can be like a puddle of mud. It doesn't look like mud right now, so if we add a modifier, generate, solidify, there we go, and add generate subdivision surface. Now we just select some of these points and we're kind of just pull them out and push them in. Let me move this over here. There we go. As I said, it doesn't need to be perfect. You can just kind of duplicate this again. You could probably even go sculpting. Maybe you could just grab, I don't know. Can we do silhouette? Grab silhouette. There we go. Is silhouette doing anything? Nope. 2D grab. There we go. Maybe grab 2D. I don't know. It's not probably the best way to do it. Probably screwed it up, but there we go. We have. Oh, the other way we could do it. Probably better way of doing it is. Let's go back to layout. Let's get rid of that rubbish. If we was to just go mesh because of a bezier or something, and then delete those vertices. Kind of draw like a splash, kind of. I don't know. We link these. Let's close. We want to close this. Clean up, show, toggle, split. Let's add. Where's the close? Make a segment. I want these two to connect, right? Delete. You can't close it, or do I have to actually convert this into a thing, into a mesh, and then close those points? There must be a way to close it. Anyway, we got a different puddle there. It doesn't matter. There's just different ways of doing it. Curve. It was to go extrude. That's not. I want to fit it, so maybe not extrude. F or F. No, because it's not a mesh. We go back to convert to mesh. F or AF. There we go. Solidify. Let's try this. I don't know if this will work or not. Subdivide. Is it crashed? May have not crashed, but might be trying to think like, what the heck are you doing? Yeah, it's like, what the heck is going on? No, that's horrible. It doesn't look. Yeah, look, it's struggling. I'll let it come back to life. Bear with me. Okay, it came back alive. Let's not do this. Let's delete this because I don't want it to crash. So let's not do this. Let's stick with this. Right. Let's just stick with something that works. Could probably do proportional editing or something. You can kind of move, you know, around like this. Get what you want. That's it. keep it simple. Kind of don't want it to be. There you go. Shift D. Do the same on here. I don't know. You know what I mean? No. Anyway, got too much overlapping here, or whatever's going on here. Let's turn this off. Is it these ones that is overlapping? Yeah. Should avoid that overlapping rubbish, so we don't get this tearing. Okay. There we go. That'll do. That'll do. We got some bubbles. Buddy bubbles. Not the best, but it'll do. I'm sure there's a better way of doing it. I know there is a better way of doing it. I don't need to see, I'm sure. I know there's a million ways of doing this. Anyway, let's kind of position this where we want. Is it gonna crash? Why is it not solidifying there? Let me turn this off for a second. I don't know what I did. Oh, there we go. 0.5. Okay, cool. That'll do. Like I said, let's start with putting materials together. And setting up our camera, lighting, and get this like a little render out of it. Sorry I went quiet for a bit. Intend to do that. I don't know, we could use some meta blobs as well. I don't know. I'm just thinking metal blobs. We could use some of these. I wanted to. Oh, shift D can kind of make it look like splashing some mud up. I don't know. Just using the metal ball. I'm just thinking, just making it up. Of course, you can scale these down. And go for like a. You know, when you get that crown splash, you can kind of just try to shape some mud. It's not perfect, but I don't know. Did not know. Can I select all of those metal balls? And then just shift E. Yeah, anyway. Just another way of doing things. A different way, I guess. So I can just splash on mud. So if I try to merge all of these, convert to mesh, and then let's just add the modifier, subdivide that, shade auto smooth. It's not terrible. Shift D. I like it. It's not terrible. Different, but I maybe replace those metal balls with these splashes and then just shift D, um, and just kind of rotate and scale this down. So if I scale it more and scale it out, I think I could get away with something like that. Yeah, that looks much better. Much better. Much easier. Okay, that'll do. I'll keep it like that. I don't know why my brain thinks use. I don't know. My brain works different ways. Let's say how it works. Anyway, let's start putting materials on there. Don't forget to save your scene if you want to, you know, don't lose. You don't want to lose it. Anyway, we're gonna go here. We're gonna start dropping some materials. Let's start with the pig, right? We're gonna put some shading in here. So let's go here. Go scene world, and I'm gonna put something like this, nice and warm. I'm gonna change this to cycles, and I'm gonna change this to GPU. I'm gonna denoise this. All right, it's looking very nice. Let's put a backdrop actually as well. So mesh. Let's get a plane. Oh, this can kind of sit on that, like so. Then we can hit tab. I'm going to hit these edges here. Extrude up. Oh. And I'll select these edges. Bevel edge. Increase that number of count. Shade auto smooth. There we go. It's looking cool. I wasn't expecting that. Anyway, so I'm gonna go here. New pink, pinkish kind of. This kind of looks purple, but pink. Yeah, that kind of. Anyway, we want it to look like a ceramic kind of thing, so we're gonna bring that roughness down. Boom. Now we can apply the same material to these if we want. However, what I want to do, I want to show you that how you can also paint if you want to do some texturing on top. So I'll apply a separate material for the pig ears. So you can actually, if I remember, you can go to, like if I go here, you can actually go here, copy material, and then I can go here, new material, but then say paste material. So now it's the same material, but a copy and paste. But this one I want to do like later on, put a texture material on rather than being the pink here. Anyway, let's do here, new. Hopefully that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Let's go black. And we go. Okay, the mud. So it's gonna be mud. There we go, and bring that roughness down. You can name these materials, so if you ever want to rename them, tell them be more like material 5, which you should really name, so it's like you know what it's associated with, what that mud material is, or whatever you're going to create. Then you can assign that material easier. There we go. Now we have the mud material. But yeah, set this kind of like, it's kind of like, yeah, that's fine. New, and then we'll go for a brown. Actually, I don't mind the orange. Maybe orange and a green, I'm thinking. Sorry. Um, yeah. Do you think orange and green would work? I don't know. Let's see. I don't really know. It's to change the color. Like a. Eh. I don't know. I thought green, like a dark green, maybe in my head, or saturated dark green, or I don't know. I don't know why I thought green would work. Maybe not. Let's go for that. That'll do. Material 8. It may have worked. I don't know. Green might have worked. We can go back and change it. There's no rules to say, you know, it has to be a specific color. Like I said. This is material 6. I'm gonna apply material 6 to this. The ear color, I'm gonna apply the same to that. So that was material 2. So material 2, and then this I'll make like a kind of gunmetal metallic. It's not too much gloss on that. There we go. And of course here we apply material 2 to the tail, and we have our pig. Now the eyes look a bit funny, so maybe we'll go here, just add a subdivision surface to that, and do the same here. And if I was to duplicate this, let's scale it. I'm going to change this to normal so I can pull this out. Move this up. New material. Boom. Shift. Oh. Control Z. Shift D. There we go. It's not looking terrible. Drop our background color on the backdrop here, whatever color you want. I like that. Yeah, I like that. It's not terrible. We can also, let's go back into, let's quickly add mesh. We'll just get a cylinder, right? We'll make a little coin. We'll scale this down. We're going to go to edit. We'll select these two faces. We'll just insert, and then we're going to go extrude along normals. Then we're going to hit Control A, scale, apply a geometry. Modify bevel modifier. Increase that count. There we go. Something like that. Let's add a subdivision surface and also shade smooth. There we go. And we have a nice coin to go into our pig. Did we lose the boolean? We did. Oh, because the boolean. Did I not parent this properly? Where's the cube? Yeah. Didn't parent it properly, so we lost the hole. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Turn that off and turn that off. There we go. Make that slightly smaller. And we could add a gold kind of material to this, gold coin. There we go. Metallic. That roughness there. Now we have a gold coin going in. Of course, if I split this now, vertical split, add a camera, 0, home. And then I like to turn the gizmos off. Hit N to hide that menu here. Hide this, hide this. Actually, bring here now. I'm going to say camera to view. Boom. And then when I zoom out, you can see I can move the camera, like I said, over here or here. And then I can kind of frame up my shot for the render. And then over here, I can kind of do whatever changes as I work. On the camera, I always like to do the viewport. I like to just passport out, so just graze out. You don't need to see the extra. You just see what the camera sees. So you can focus on that more. There we go. We have a little pig. Of course, you can, maybe I want to be a little bit extra. And go in here. Maybe I'll add the split line. Then I'll just say over edge, and then I'll just reduce the count, and then I assign another color to this. So add, assign, new, assign, and then you can go whatever color you want. Maybe I'll go back with the orange or whatever. Now, in terms of if you want to put like say on the pig itself, it had these kind of like textures, right? You could, if you wanted to like paint on your actual mesh, you would have to UV map it, right? So you can spend time UV mapping it and fixing it up. And also, if you notice, I've got these little weird issues here. So if I want, I could probably fix that. But if I just go, let me apply all these. Sorry, apply all these modifiers that are on the pig. I can delete the cube now because that modifier is now applied. The cube doesn't need to be there. I can go into sculpting, for example, and I can go in here and I can say, okay, I want to maybe smoothen this out a little, or grab this, grab this and pull this out. Let's smoothen that top out. I don't know, or maybe I want to inflate or crease. You can polish that crease if I want to sharpen the crease. you know, you could go in and do all sorts to it. I think I messed up that nose, but you get the idea that you can, you know, you can fix up stuff um, to a point that you want. You're not locked into that. You can also I hit shift here, I can kind of shape it a little or smooth it out. There we go. Just fix it up. I mean, that looks terrible there. That looks terrible. Maybe we don't notice it. Let's see. Yeah, we don't notice it, which is good. But yeah, but what you want to do is go into, you want to select the UV. So I'm going to select the whole object, right? I'm just going to do smart UV projection. If you want, you can set your seams and then do the projection properly. Once you have that, what you want to do on that material, this first material, where it says color base, I'm gonna copy this. So I have the same color, so that when I'm painting, so I have the original material color. But if I go here, I'm gonna say I want it as an image texture. I'm gonna set a new, and then you can, you know, Piggy or whatever you want to set your resolution for that texture. It will go black as you can see in the render here. If I go to texture painting, so now I can go on that image Piggy, right? With the brush selected, I should be able to just paint. But did I sign? Let me double check if I signed the material. Piggy, yeah. Right now it's set to black, so if I set that to white and paint, you can see it's now paint. So the reason I copied the hex for that pink, I can put that in. Now I have the pink, and then I can paint that texture in. Or I can just use the bucket to fill the whole pig in, right? But now if I want to put like say the little blush areas or whatever it is, where it's a little bit reddish, I can go here, maybe bring the strength down and increase the brush size and just add that in. If it was to go back to our layout, you can see it's there. It's not perfect because I just kind of just clicked anywhere, but if I undo, and if it was to go back and do it properly, see, let's undo, let's get the brush smaller. Say here and here. There we go. So yeah, feel free if you wanna, you know, maybe you wanna darken that foot. Maybe if I go value and then I want it slightly darker here, kind of just brush that in, like it's toenails or something. I don't know. There's no rules to what you want to do. You can do that. You can also blur, airbrush or smudge. Where's the blur? Blur. Let's blur that a little. Blur those. Blur that. Blur that. You can even blur this. Blur this. So it's a bit softer. If you do changes, make sure you hit save on that or save your file. It'll save. You have to save the texture and save your file as well. Right now, all this time I've been working unsaved. So if it crashed, I lost everything. So make sure to save your work. Anyway, there you go. So you can see now we've got this little texture in there, and you can see the feet where we've kind of put the little paint. So if you want, you can do that too. So you can add additional details to your pig. I'm not really going to show you how to UV, you know, unwrap it correctly, and that's a whole thing on its own. Just creating this little piggy thing. I just thought make a small video, which is not a small video because now it turned out to be a long video. It's me learning, but also sharing as well, hopefully. Anyway, yeah, and then if you have gobo lights or something, if you want to make it a bit more fancy, you don't have to. You can use, like I said, you can probably just drop in like another point light in here. Um, move this over here. Like if I put this point light behind, for example, increase that exposure. You can put like a little backlight in there, or you can place it just slightly above. Now, if I don't want it to cast a shadow, but I just want to keep that highlight, maybe I like that highlight up there. Let's put this 500. Let's put some. Oh, maybe that's too ridiculous. 50, like for example, and then bring down that exposure. But if I go here on the settings, I can just say turn cast shadows off. You can see it doesn't cast a shadow, but the light still, has an effect on it. Let's put that back to 10 and then just push the exposure up. And then of course you can change colors. So you can put that as a backlight. You can maybe light on the side, whatever you want. You know, get completely different look and feel. By just changing the, the the lighting and the colors that you put around the actual mesh or your model or whatever you create. You can go if you want. You can do whatever you like. I'm gonna go here. Actually, like what I said, I'm gonna go to my asset browser. Get a gobo light. So I have a few gobo lights. I got these from the Blender Market. You can choose what you want. If you want a window, maybe you want this to be like this on someone's desk. Maybe we'll say, oh, we're just gonna grab a window and we're gonna put this here. I'm gonna just use the constraint track 2 and point this at whatever mesh I want. So I'll say point it at the base, push this over here, go to light settings, just bump up that exposure. Now we've got like additional detail here. Maybe I'll just soften that radius. There we go. And it just adds that extra detail. You don't need it, but you can add it if you want. Just helps ground it maybe. It's not necessary, like I said. There's no rules to what it is. Anyway, have a play. Hopefully, you enjoy your day, morning, night. Like I said, you can change these colors. So, for example, I like this color right now. So I'll just copy and save that. But if I wanna go for pink color, go for pink, go purple, blue, whatever you want. Green, doesn't matter. It's whatever you prefer. If you want to go more pale, more brighter. Pink doesn't look too bad because anyway. Or that, or that, or that, or that. Anyway, enjoy your day, morning, evening, or night. Thank you. Hit like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment below if you have advice how to create certain things, particular things where I struggled or whatever, or where you think I can clean it up or make it more interesting. Enjoy your day. Bye bye.